Hello coaches, hope everyone's doing well. This week, something a little bit different. You hear the argument all the time, especially with possession-based teams that are, we're not a long ball team. But then when you watch a match and you watch the highest level, you see some of the range of passing from centre-backs, from goalkeepers particularly today. And they are really, really impressive and they open the game up. So is there a time and place for a long ball in a possession-based team? I think a lot of coaches would say yes. So today I want to look at where particularly are those right moments, right times, right places to find those longer passes in your possession-based system. So something that I want to challenge myself and want to put something together and thought, all right, well, what would the top three long passes be in a system that I would use today, whereabouts, and with what players? So I'm going to go through that today. Please, if you enjoy the work, give it a subscribe so you don't miss any of the future videos. Give it a like as well if you want to support the work. And then also this is part of our promotion for the new book, Modern Soccer Coach 20 Attack and Training Sessions. So if you enjoy the work and you'd like to go a little bit deeper in terms of the session planning throughout this work, check out the new ebook. You can get it right away. It's on the website, modernsoccercoach.com/shop. It's also available down below. 20 full sessions, 3 sessions for each, covering build-up, covering midfield play, and then covering final third play. 60 exercises total, all principle-based, all work that you can take and apply to any type of system, and you can tweak as well. Check it out below. Thanks for the support. All right, let's take a look at some long passes. All right, so the first one, which I think is almost a necessity today, is the goalkeeper's range of passing, especially when you're building with a press that's coming from out to in. So this is something that we looked at a couple of weeks ago with a press, with breaking a press. What happens if you're playing against a 4-3-3, 7s, 11s cut inside? We're going to look at that picture. Keeper plays, the press is triggered, 7s, 11s go, 6 has to play the ball back, or centre-backs have to play the ball back. The wide spaces are open for the 2s and the 3s. And if the goalkeeper can find those wide spaces with a driven pass, it doesn't just break the press, it also opens up a situation where you have numbers up and also a situation where you can isolate the opposition fullback and then create an overload. In this case, we've gone inside to go outside, crossing opportunity, goal scoring opportunity. That's what we want to do. So the next one we'll take a look at is if the opposition don't press and maybe they play with a high block and they allow centre-backs to have it. So now what can the centre-backs do to unlock the spaces higher up the pitch? When you're playing against this system, I think you find that teams stay compact in between the lines. So there's not a lot of spaces to penetrate passes through the middle, but they typically leave the outside and the weak side open. So if you circulate possession around, does the centre-back have a diagonal pass that can go over the block and then can also then isolate the 7-11 on the opposite side? If that pass is successful, again, the picture it opens up I find really interesting. The fullback on the opposition has to come across. You can play it back to a fullback, you can play it back to a centre mid, or the centre mid, the number 8, can go into the space, ball around the corner. Now you've got runners into those inside channels, and again, crossing opportunity, goal scoring opportunity. And then the last one, which is a personal favourite of mine, what happens if you play against a medium block that is compact and designed to protect their centre-backs, and you really want to test those centre-backs. Now what happens is, as we saw in the last clip, sometimes they won't press your centre-back, so it's hard to get those centre-backs high up the pitch. And if you do, the opposition can read it and will drop for the long ball. So in this situation, we're looking for our number 6 to receive the ball on the turn and immediately look to play over that defensive line. Again, you can see the spaces that are closed, opens up, long pass, and then can you isolate one of the centre-backs with the ball over the top, maybe take them by surprise. Weight of the pass is important, but if you've got a good pass and a well-timed run. And there you have it. Those would be my 3 passes that I would really encourage in a possession-based system that would look to stretch the play, that would look to ask questions of opponent shape. Also centre-backs, defensive players in the opposition, you want to ask questions of them throughout the game and pose some challenges. Those are the ones that I would look to do. I think the next step when you're identifying that, or maybe you're talking to your staff, or maybe this is an exercise you do with your club and you're like, all right, well, what ones are we going to prioritize in our system? The next thing then would be looking at session design. And if the sessions are all 5 yard, 5 yard, 5 yard, 5 yard pass, so the players seeing those pictures, because in order for the players to be successful and teams to be successful in that, it's not just the technique of hitting a long ball, it's of spacing, it's of positioning, but it's also of timing as well. So everyone's got to be on the same page. So the session has got to bring out that. So maybe the sizes have to be bigger, or you can maybe set up the session in a way that passes can get played over. And organise a session around that can bring that out. The other thing I would say would then be of analysis and maybe the use of data in counting how many times you're doing that per half, or are you doing it per game, and who's keeping track of that. And maybe you're doing a little player development exercise as well, where you're getting clips of some centre backs that are really, really good at it. Virgil van Dijk, for example, who can go diagonal and open up the game. There's different ways you can use this here. If you want to read a little bit more, check out the new ebook, Modern Soccer Coach 20 Attack and Training Sessions, looking at things like this, things like the build-up, midfield progression, and also attacking in the final third. We keep it principle-based, so it's not just about one formation or the other. It's about keeping your principles and then working around those. As much flexibility in your session design, then allowing you to go in, get as many ideas as you can, and help with training sessions or help with maybe conversations that you're having with your assistant coaches or coaches at the club. The link is below. Please check it out. Before you leave, please also subscribe to the page, modernsoccercoach.com. Check it out for more content. Thanks as always. See you next week.